In a dimly lit hospital room, there was a little girl. She was lying on her hospital bed, holding her stuffed teddy bear so tightly for her comfort. Tubes and wires were part of her everyday existence, and that harsh beeping sound of machines has become her childhood soundtrack. As you know, for most of the kids, childhood is filled with fun, energy, entertainment, and enthusiasm. But for her, it's extremely different. She had to deal with the things like pricking her own fingers, having a insulin shots 4 times a day, following her diet plans, and continuously monitoring her blood glucose levels just to sustain. But it's not only the physical illness that became tough to her, it also the mental pain she got into due to the diabetes. For everyone, it may seem easy that diabetes is just a thing everyone could manage and everyone could deal with it. But at some point of time, you think about it a lot. You know what to do, you know whom to express what you are going through. Most of the times, she felt alone. She felt scared because she had to deal with this deadly non contagious disease that always wanted to take her dreams away from her, future away from her. However, she didn't let her illness define her. Even though she was diabetic, she was also someone who is with the bigger dreams, lot of self confidence and belief on herself. At early stage of life, she decided not to let her illness stop her from doing anything and everything in her life. She have taken a step to move forward even though she is suffering from that. With the unwavering determination, she held herself, she worked on herself, and started to move on in order to achieve her goals and dreams. Today, this little girl is standing in front of you as a beacon of resilience and as a living inspiration for anyone and everyone who is facing the same adversity. Life is not equal for all, but something we can do is to deal with it to grow ourselves. As a teen, at some point of time, I was no longer a stranger to diabetes. I was no longer a stranger to pricking myself and hurting myself with needles constantly. I was no longer a stranger for my diet. Everything has become a habit to me. But I still remember the days where I couldn't able to enjoy the candies or the sweets while my other friends are eating them. And I also remember, for me, the life was just never a normal. That normal life was always out of my reach. It was a daily fight. It was a daily fight against me, and not only against my disease, but also daily fight against the ignorance and misunderstanding of people around me. For most of us, school is a place for freedom, friendships, laughter, learnings, and enjoyment, right? For me, it was always a test of my endurance. It always tested me and my patience and how I gonna deal with my life. I vividly remember the lunches I couldn't attend, the sweets, candies, or treats I never had, and the birthday parties where I felt like almost an outsider every time. Isn't it painful? While others were enjoying and playing carefree, I always used to sit in the corner and monitor my blood glucose levels because that's how I sustain in my life by tracking them, having the diet, and everything. Each day has brought me new dilemmas. Why doesn't she eat candies or treats like others or us? My classmates wondered. Why does she always does this weird finger pricking thing? Everyone around me couldn't comprehend the battle I fought. There was some point of time where I got extremely depressed because this pain is not only physical, right? It was emotional. I felt extremely different among the normal crowd. I felt isolated. I even felt depressed. And there was a moment where I decided not to prick myself or not to monitor myself or try to just be act as a normal kid. I just wanted to see how life looks like in that way. So one fine day in my ninth standard, me and my parents went to my school to take the books during the summer season. And my parents didn't know that I wasn't monitoring my blood glucose levels. They thought it got used to her, she might be daily doing. We need not to track her. She's not a kid anymore, right? So I only remember the moment I went to take books. And I woke up after 56 days looking around me, the hospital, the nurses, once again the tubes and wires. And I still not remember what happened. For me, it was just an easy thing to, avoid monitoring or just tracking my blood glucose levels. But for my parents, it's not. It has a painful situation and a stressful situation to them. To look at me like that for 56 days, doing nothing, just lying on the bed like that. That was the moment I decided to figure out some solution for this. Either I should adapt or else I need to figure out an alternative for this. For me, I have strongly decided that I couldn't able to adapt because I have already tried it throughout my life, right? Then, as long as I thought this thought to, bring a solution for this, I started speaking to a lot of people who are suffering with diabetes. People from different regions, different age groups, different types of diabetes, and everything. I finally figured out there are three main problems which is stopping people to monitor their blood glucose levels. One, the pain. Imagine being pricked yourself with needles for more than 4 to 5 times a day. How painful it is. And it also makes your fingers numb. It also makes your fingers prone to lot of diseases. And being diabetic, the person is extremely sensitive for a lot. And the second problem is cost. 80% of the diabetic population live in low and middle income countries like India. How many of our population are willing to spend 130 rupees to 160 rupees per day just to monitor their blood glucose levels? Apart from their insulin, apart from their diet, and the doctor consultees, and all the huge costs that occur due to diabetes. Not even 10% of them, right? And the third problem is lack of comfort. Just pictureize the event is happening, you are listening, and I'm standing on the stage and pricking myself to monitor the blood glucose levels. It would be definitely awkward to everyone among us, right? Because a lot of people don't like to see blood, and a lot of you wonder what is she even doing on the stage and everything. So I finally figured out these are the three main problems which is stopping people to monitor the blood glucose levels. After doing a lot of research, we at Viva Life Innovations have figured out a solution for this. Putting all these concerns together, we have built Easy Life. Easy Life is a compact, portable, and economical non-invasive glucometer that fits into your tiniest pocket. It also comes along with an companion app which gives you blood glucose levels, test reminders. It also tells you whether your diabetic levels are high, low, or what to do in case of they are extremely high, and either what to do whether they are extremely low, and everything. It also gives you the HbA1c levels, which is the 3 months blood glucose tracking of your blood glucose levels to monitor and manage your diabetes efficiently. Moreover, it has doctor on board. It also reminds you regarding your insulin dosage levels and all the little things that a diabetic individual needs. And one best thing we have made is we have made our app available in all the regional languages along with the voice assistants so that it can be available and feasible to any age group of people from any different regions. So that's what we have made. So I'm a kind of LinkedIn person more than an Instagram or Facebook person. I'm a kind of person who surf a lot, read a lot, and a bookworm. While I was developing our product, I was so keen to participate in a lot of competitions because I always love to get validation from different people, that too masses of different people. So I used to go to a lot of competitions, hackathons, and everything. As part of that, one fine day, I have figured out that Shark Tank is coming to India. I thought, why not to apply? So I started researching about whether I would fit into that, what is the eligibility criteria, what is that I supposed to do now to get into Shark Tank. Because everyone loves binge watching Shark Tank. And when you come to know that Shark Tank is coming to India, why can't you try? After doing a research for 3 to 4 days, I finally figured out that I'm eligible. And it took me 3 to 4 sleepless nights to fill the application. That tough it was. I literally didn't had any hopes because we were just at prototype stage while Shark Tank was happening. One fine morning, I was busy doing with my works. I had one more competition, Thai women. So I was completely mingled in my works and I just received a call from the Shark Tank team that, you got selected in the first round of Shark Tank. You are invited to the auditions which are happening in Bangalore. And that too within one day. I don't know how to react. Should I cry? Should I feel excited? What should I even feel? So we packed, we went to the location, the auditions were happening. We came to know that we are the final team to go for the auditions. And the audition was at 10 p.m. And there comes one more pressure. Who are sitting in the team to validate the idea? How much time do we get? And how are they supposed to validate us? We never knew anything. It was surprise like us. And being a last participant, I always had this dilemma whether they are sleepy after having their dinner because I'm the last. What if they are not interested and reject me? Finally, we pitched, and still I didn't had a hope that I'll get selected to the final show. And after like 20 or 25 days, I have received a call from the main Shark Tank team that I need to visit Mumbai for the final pitch. I was super excited because it was like a dream come true for me. We went to Mumbai. We met lot of participants, listened to their stories, their experiences, what they have gone through, and everything. The excitement was still carrying on, and the pitch day has come. I went to stage. I was hyper nervous. I was literally shivering, as I am not at all a camera friendly person over then. We till doesn't know who were the sharks. They didn't informed us who were the sharks. They just informed us, you have a 10 minute pitch. You need to go present in front of them and just validate your idea. If they are interested, they'll invest. So we went, the 10 minute pitch happened effortlessly and it was so friendly. And then we figured out three among them are interested on us. And the conversation went for 1 hour, 45 minutes. And also more than that, we showed demos, we did pitchings, we spoke a lot about the validation as it is a medical device. And finally, two sharks were interested on us and they invested. We came out with a huge check and a huge smile on face. But still, for me, it was a long-term dream come true. I was still blank. Even though I got out with a check, I was still blank. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I still don't remember what went over there. So after coming out, we got a proper validation from lot of people. People who listened to the story, people who felt this is the problem we are also feeling, and people who resonated with the problem. We had huge validation, we had huge customers waiting list. Then one fine day, I decided to reject the offer by the Shark Tank. So when you are having better validation outside and when you are having better opportunities outside, why should you settle for less? So I did. And why did I choose this problem, right? It's not just because of me. I'll give a simple data. 1 in 10 people live with diabetes. For every 6 minutes, there will be one death occurring due to diabetes. There are 537 million diabetic people around the world. And 90% of the diabetic people are type 2 diabetic. And moreover, 10.5%, which is the adult population ranging from 20 to 79 years old, are diabetic. And more than 80% of them aren't aware that they are having diabetes. Here comes 21.1% of the women, 21.1% of the women of the whole world who are with pregnancy are having hyperglycemia, which will be further converted into type 2 diabetes 5 or 10 years later. Just imagine a little distressed child who was on the hospital bed and the 21-year-old who just binge watched Shark Tank in her life. Suddenly, I was there. I was there in iconic Shark Tank in front of 5 influential sharks, pitching my prototype, proving myself. And that was extreme and tremendous experience. So, everyone have their own problems. Everyone have their own unique circumstances. But always remember that everyone has this resilience to come out for themselves. It's all about taking that one step forward in order to realize your dreams and make them come true. It's not someone who supports you or you need to wait for someone to motivate you that you are like this, you can do this better or something. It's within your inner selves. Stand for yourself just like I did for myself. So let the story be a beacon of resilience for everyone. And I hope you take your step forward to reach your dreams and goals. Thank you.